Welcome everyone to Loud and Proud Orlando. It's Monday, November the 27th, 8:46 p.m. Thank you so much for being live with us. Look, obviously, every single Orlando City fan is probably upset about the result that happened in Columbus, but I'm going to say uh, I completely brushed the page of the book like right away. And I don't know if it's just me or if it's just the way I am. But the reason why is because it has been the most successful season Orlando City has ever had in history. In the MLS era, talking about the MLS era. So I'm quite content of the performance of the majority of the team. Obviously, technically, there's tons of things to improve. I mean, Orlando City went in as a number two in the league, pretty much, and we didn't make it to the next round. Now a lot of things to improve. I think we need some changes in within the spread. I need to in the middle of the spend. I believe in the middle of the spending table between MLS teams. I believe that Orlando has spent the least and made the most out of it, and that's the reason why not only front office staff but our coach is being sought after by many teams. You know, because with little to nothing, they've made a small club from a small town in Orlando that has never won, a city that has never won a major trophy aside of the US Open Cup. We don't have a baseball team. We don't have a hockey team that is NHL hockey. We don't have a football team, American football. We only have Orlando City, right? And we've topped top dollar teams that have spent triple or four times we did the past two seasons. I want to say hello to Toronto, for example. So I take this. Yes, I was really upset. Yes, it was a horrible loss. The way Orlando lost as well kind of hurts. Sold out crowd, so Orlando pretty much choke. But I brushed the page right away because I remembered all the good moments Orlando has had this season. And now the bar has been raised three times higher. So now Orlando needs to replicate what they did this season with Messi in the league, with the league being maybe, you know, pushing for Messi to win it all next season, right? Um, and possibly with changes within the front office staff, coaching staff, don't know. So it's going to be tough, but I believe that we're going to overcome. The fans will still be here, and I turned the page. We're going to talk about what's next for Orlando City. We're going to analyze the rival. We're going to analyze Columbus, and what's coming next for the Lions. John, how are you, my friend? Good evening.
Good, buddy. Yeah. I agree with a lot of what you said there. I think it was a sad way to go out, but I think we should not forget about what an incredible season it was and just how much we achieved this year. I think second is unreal, and I think that, like you said, the bar has been raised, right? That's it. And now next season, we hope to be as successful. I think this year the first half of the season was not there, right? And we achieved second with just really coming alive in the second half of the season. If we can roll into next year, you know, with some of that momentum from the second half of this season, then we're going to be in a very good place. So excited for the off season to see what that brings and what questions are going to be answered about, three important people at the top of the organization that are out of contract. That's the first question, and then after that, questions of players and who's staying, who's going, and what the squad's going to look like, et cetera, et cetera. But there's so many questions always in this offseason to be answered, and I think that first one is kind of like they're like dominoes, right? If we know if Luis is staying the GM, then we'll know if the Ricardo is probably maybe staying as the technical director, and then Oscar is the manager coach underneath that as well. So from there, then they'll decide the player. So it's a trickle down effect, and we'll kind of see which direction the club is heading in. I think from the beginning there, and see where that takes us. But I'm excited. I'm excited about the off season. I'm excited for this team and where we can go forward. Luis, you there, bud? I think Luis may have frozen. Let's see if he comes back in a second.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think we had some technical difficulties. My apologies with everybody. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me okay?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
Okay.
Internet.
No, it's fine. No, so what I was gonna say is, honestly, I mean, what can I say about the front office staff? Look, Oscar Pareja, after this run, is probably top 3 coach in the MLS. Whether you like him or not, Oscar Pareja right now is a top 3 coach in the MLS. So are we really going to, I mean, who else is available? Who else is better than Oscar right now? That's number one within the league. Now you're going to bring somebody from abroad that is going to take the team to the next level that doesn't know anything about the MLS, that doesn't know what it takes to maybe win the MLS Cup, or at least attempt to winning it all, like Oscar has had, not only with Orlando, but also with FC Dallas at some point too. So it's not his first club. So, are you ready to move away from that? Right? In my opinion, if you want to move away from that, you have to bring somebody in the caliber of Alex Ferguson, Jose Mourinho, right? Jose Mourinho from Roma, make him come to Orlando. That's the only thing I could say that you could bring other coaches. Well, you're going to bring Bruce Arena. I mean, that's another option. You're going to want to bring Bruce Arena. You're going to bring a Bob Bradley after what he did with LAFC. I mean, those are, I mean, look, to be honest with you, Wayne Rooney, hell no. Be honest with you right now. I'll tell you right now, and I'm sure John's with me. Wayne Rooney has
Rooney
nothing to
is
do.
he's got to Birmingham and they've just dropped down the league, man. Rooney, yeah, I don't rate Rooney.
No. One of the worst coaches in the MLS, I'm gonna say it bluntly, I don't care. Hernan Losada. Horrible coach. Then you got Inchy. What, you're gonna bring him back now? I mean, you're gonna bring it back now, to reminisce him of good times. I don't think this team, even from its foundation now, it's bred for a team like Inchy likes to play. I don't know. It's just my opinion. Maybe I am completely mistaken, but do you think Inchy could be a good option if people are trying to part away from Oscar Pareja, which is now a top 3 coach in the MLS?
If you open I sent you a link, Luis, from the MLS article of the different teams that are all looking for a manager or trying to get a manager in, I mean, this was updated on November 17th. So it's fairly up to date. And there's a number of teams, like, one example for you, and this is just an idea of the market of managers right now in MLS. One example is that Portland just hired Phil Neville. So I think if you're a team of the caliber of Portland's and you're a pretty attractive market, you're a pretty big team in the league, very, very well supported club, and they're going after someone like Phil Neville, that to me says that they're kind of limited in their options, and they're kind of taking a risk on a guy that, didn't really do that well in Miami. So then all these managers that get put back on the market from this year, like Christian Lattanzio you talked about, right? And, like Adrian Heath is back on the market, and, he hasn't done that great.
As well,
Rowan Losada, like, Gerhard Struber, like there's Troy Lisset, like there's, Bruce Arena, like there's just Giovanni Savarese, like there's just guys that are just very average. And Oscar is above all of these guys.
Oscar's above all of them.
And so that's the thing. This year, he's, he could have dropped down with these guys, but he's made sure that he's maintained his win rate, and he's maintained his ability in this league to develop and change and be an effective manager. And that's why if any of these teams, also this is the point I brought this up, Luis, is because if any of these teams, if we don't sign him, they're all going to try and sign him. All of them.
I agree with you.
So, when you're comparing any of them to Oscar wins.
In great Orlando fashion, and when I say in great Orlando fashion, and people that live in Orlando are going to agree with me, always when Orlando has some success with any player, they always go out west, and there's always one team out west that takes our player, and then they win a championship. And it's Los Angeles. And I believe if Oscar's going to leave, and if I'm Oscar Pareja and I want to leave Orlando, I want to go to that type of market. And I want to go to a market that has a lot of money.
I think we would be in danger of losing him to a big, big market in MLS, like an LAFC sort of thing.
No, not LAFC. I will say LA Galaxy.
Maybe LA Galaxy. If he was like, I'll remake you into
I'll remake
great.
You what I did in Orlando.
That I could see. But it needs to be a big market and historical team, and there's not that many of those.
Five-time MLS champion.
I think outside of that, Oscar's like, I'll stay here happily.
Exactly. Five-time MLS champion, looking to build a brand new foundation for their team. Who better than Oscar Pareja? Now, I'm just now helped LA to notice Oscar. So, if they're going to be that dumb, they pay Chicharito so much money. I'm sure they could pay double or triple that. I mean, the Bus family has a lot of money. They own the Dodgers. They own the Lakers. I'm sure they'll be able to pay Pareja's salary if they want to. So Orlando right now, they have a top 3 coach in the MLS, and our fan base still doesn't realize this. They still are in the puppy out stage from a few months ago. And no, this is not the puppy out times right now. This is, I believe, if we're ready to build up, it's going to be with Oscar, at least.
I think there's just some people, Luis, who are shouting loudest, because I did a little poll on, like I did a little option A, we could go this way, right? And which is renew everybody and go again next year with most of the squad and try and keep the core together and add some guys and promote some guys from OCB. Like that's plan A. Plan B being that you would change it up, go find a new head coach, probably maybe replace some of the other two, maybe Luis or Ricardo, or maybe they stay, you don't know, but basically change the head coach, meaning that you're going to change your philosophy, change some of the squad more significantly than you would. And on this poll, there was almost 500 votes, and 90% of people voted for option A, renew Oscar, go again. So I think that shows a lot of that sort of people that were on the fence before are now convinced by Oscar, and happy with what they've seen and want to go again next year. I think there are some people that, want to do the other option, and that's fine if that's your opinion. Nothing against that. I think that's justifiable, like you said, if we have a better option out there. But just changing the manager because you don't like the manager, I don't think is valid.
No,
Like,
the only
we
thing,
have to go up if we're going to change. It has to
right?
go up. We can't just be going for a lateral or a risky move when Oscar has proven to be good enough to get us to the latter stages of the competition and keep us in the conversation to win titles.
The bar has been raised. Who better than the person who raised it? Like that's common sense to me. Now, who else are you going to get? Like, I'm going to tell you now from South America who's available right now. Okay, you can get Cesar Farias, former Bolivian coach, former Venezuelan coach from the national team, a guy who fist fought his own player in Copa Libertadores in the middle of a team, but obviously he has a really good winning record. When you're going to bring that type of guy to the MLS. Now, what else? Matias Almeida, former San Jose Earthquakes coach, who's trying to leave Greece because he's tired of eating pita bread and eating hummus. Now you're going to give him Orlando after a great winning record with San Jose. Look at that, San Jose. Oh my God, right? Who else is available? Pineda from Atlanta. He's probably on his way out. You're going to bring him down? I mean, he's kind of like my cousin. But it's still like who I mean, there's really no one else unless you're bringing like a big name. I'm talking about Mad Money.
Right. I think that's the thing. If it was a big
Thierry Henry,
big name of a guy who's done international management, I think that's a big thing because MLS is so much travel. And that's what makes it so unique. And an international manager knows how to deal with travel and the fact that your team is going to have to go somewhere, set up a little camp, for a few days, play a game, and then move on. Like they're experienced in that. That's a big part of the league. Also, a big part of this league is all the rules and regulations and how you roster build and all of that stuff that goes with the draft. And these things are not there in other leagues. So that's why when people ask, like, oh, why does it need MLS experience? Because this is not just something you learn overnight. Like Oscar spent years and years and years understanding the league, being in the league, knowing like how these things work and operate. If you're just an outsider,
right here, right?
Yeah, if you're an outsider coming in, you don't know this stuff, right? Also, these points about that Oscar develops like players. Like, look at the player development he's done this year with guys like Dagger or Wilder, or look at Santos. Like, there's been incredible player development this year.
I take it to another level.
Big part of that. So a lot of these things you're giving up if you go with another manager. Yeah, they might have these things, but this is, it's a lot of things on the checklist.
Look, I take it to another level, going from what you just said. 2018, Nani, end of the road in Europe. He was not the same Nani from Man United. Comes to Orlando. He rebuilt his career here with Oscar and his staff, which I'm going to give kudos to his staff too. Some young guy from Peru comes in, unannounced. No one knew who he was. Some goalkeeper. We don't know if he's going to be great. Goes in after a failure in Mexico, after failure in Peru, completely demotivated to play the sport, comes to Orlando City with a glimmer of hope. Oscar and his staff, and especially the coach, the goalkeeper coach, revitalized his career completely. Now he's the number one player in Peru, number one player in his club, Pedro Galese. Without Oscar and his squad, he would have not been in the place where he's in right now, performance-wise. Another player, Alexander Pato. How come Alexander Pato is able to play right now in Brazil, in Sao Paulo? He came as a reject, came to the MLS, got here in Orlando, and I think Oscar and his squad extended his career for another couple of years. So Oscar and his squad and his staff have that type of value, in my opinion, where you could take a player Like, look at Dagger Dan, for example. They found a place for Dagger Dan in a place that he could excel the most, and they can take the most out of him. And then we were kind of in a way saying, will he work, as a D mid? No, he's our, I think he's our starting right back now, and I think for the couple of seasons beyond. So, that's the type of coaching that we need. So we're gonna get rid of that and bring someone that is gonna have to readapt. And then why if we go to a losing slump, 5 games, 0 wins, we're gonna start hearing, "Oh my God, we made a mistake, guys! Get rid of him, get rid of him." Like,
It's the old phrase: "The grass is always greener on
it's
the other
greener.
side." Yeah,
I think what Orlando needs to do, this is just my own humble opinion, open your wallet.
I think that's what they will do. Yeah.
Open the
I
wallet.
think also, Luis, like I said before, there's just a small minority of people that want, still want change and are still talking and that's fine. That's your opinion. But like you can see, there's the majority of the fans are very happy with this season. And yeah, we didn't win anything, but it doesn't matter. We came second. It's not always about winning a trophy every year. Sometimes it's more than that. And we took massive strides this year. We're Champions Cup, sorry, team again next season. So for me, that's enough in itself that we get to be in the Champions Cup next year. And we just got to roll again. Same thing. Matt Doyle said, "Run it back." And I agree. I said,
This is what Matt
roll it out
Doyle.
again. Re-roll.
Yeah, let's put what Matt Doyle put here.
Yeah, he put a really
Off-season
good
priority right here, right?
mhm.
I could have gone 15 deep with that players to build around list. Orlando are deep and good. Here's what they need to figure out to be deep and great. Do they sell Torres? He's, oh my God, I don't know how to pronounce that. Ostensibly their best player, but a productive 23-year-old for Uruguay national team attacker will have a significant market in Europe. I know Ojeda looks to me like a ready-made replacement. So if the price is right, I disagree with that. But go out and get an elite number 10 who can be the best player on the field multiple times in a long playoff run and who can be a force magnifier for other attackers. I agree with that. It says Mauricio Pereira is a very good player and they should keep him. But the delta between Pereira and guys like Luciano Acosta, Thiago Almada, Carles Gil, Hani Mukhtar, and Emmanuel Reynoso is large. Adding someone in that tier, someone who just grab a game like Saturday's playoffs exit and make it his own, should be a top off-season priority. I completely agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Look, let's dissect this.
He summed up Mauricio perfectly there.
Perfect. I agree wholeheartedly. Let's dissect this. Do they sell Torres? Look, great guy, in my opinion. Great guy, great player. 2 years already in the MLS, and we've seen he's been the top scorer for Orlando City this season, 14 goals. So no doubt, talent, unbelievable talent. But how many times have we seen him trying to step back, make an extra cut, so he's able to shoot with his right foot, right, or with the foot that he can shoot with, right? I rather just find someone that's able to shoot with both feet at this point, right? I think we could have, now that's one thing, little itty bitty thing, but I believe his goal is to go to Europe, right? I mean, there were Arsenal talks and things like that, but I feel like he's not ready yet. It's just my opinion. I don't feel he's ready. I feel like if he goes to Europe right now, and let's say he wants to go and we sell him, he's going to go to a, Victoria Guimarães from Portugal, a small club in Denmark, or maybe a Feyenoord, from Europa League, kind of what you said, John, a Europa League club, right?
Yeah, at that level, not like top European club, but like a team that plays in Europe in some kind of competition, but not necessarily like a top Champions League club.
If I'm Facundo Torres, I also want to play for my country. And he has not been able to have any minutes with Marcelo Bielsa. And that is huge for him because that means that the coach, yeah, he calls you, but you are the replacement of the replacement, right?
Do you
So
think that's because Bielsa doesn't respect the MLS as much, maybe, and therefore that would
no, he does.
influence Facu to move, or do you think does Bielsa not care about that?
I'll be honest with you. There are better players than Facu Torres in that position.
They've got a wealth of good
Yeah,
attacking midfielders. That is true,
exactly.
and guys
So
who use 2 feet. So maybe that's
so I believe he needs to be conscious that his time to shine with Uruguay will be in Copa America. Because I know for a fact, and this is a bomb right now, guys, he's going to have minutes with Uruguay in Copa America. He's going to be in the list for Copa America for 2024. It's going to be held in the United States. Most of the MLS players that play for several South American countries will be listed as part of the rosters. So Cucho Hernandez, you're going to see him with Colombia. You can see Thiago Almada playing for Argentina. Same with Luciano Acosta. And the league is doing that because they want to pitch the MLS worldwide. So we need to see Facu. He's going to have to shine in the MLS. Prove Bielsa, hey, I could be your number 2 guy rather than your number 4 guy. Right? And I think when he does that, that's when he may be ready to a Porto or to maybe a Atletico Madrid.
I think
right?
Porto is the perfect club.
Right.
Porto would be,
but I don't feel he's ready yet, in my opinion.
I think the biggest problem we have is with 2 things. One, I agree that he's one-dimensional in some ways. Sometimes the guy, he has to play on the right wing and he has to cut it on his left foot.
Yeah, on his
and
left
I think
foot.
it's become a bit too predictable.
Exactly.
I think that even if in MLS, if they can stop you doing that, then you need something else. And if he can stop you in MLS doing that, they can stop you in other leagues around the world doing that, no problem. So I think that's a big problem for him. I think also that, he's not proven to be a big game player. And I think we've dived into the bigger conversation, but this might lead us back to the actual game from last week, because that's a perfect thing to segue into. That I think Facu just didn't step up in that game, and I think that's his biggest flaw, I would say, as a star player for us, is you need your big players to step up in games like that. And I don't think it was just him. I think there was other guys on the squad who didn't as well in that game, but as the main guy we look to and as the leader and the star player of the squad, you need him to lead from the front and by example. And that miss on Saturday is funny because 9 times out of 10 I would have said he scores that. And when he didn't put that in, I thought, I don't think it's going to happen, because if Facu isn't scoring that and we're not being clinical, then no one's scoring and we're just not able to put
we
the
have
ball in
not
the
been
back of the net.
able.
And part of that comes down to guys like Facu who didn't step up. Mauricio didn't step up. In big games, Mauricio goes missing. Schlegel stepped up in the wrong way. Schlegel, we were all just so comfortable with Schlegel being in there, and then he went and did what we all knew he could do. It flowed at any time and caused real problems for us. And then he did that. Janssen stepped up for a big game. That's the one I would say. So would you agree with that?
I agree. Rafa had a great game. Robin had a great game.
Well.
Robin had a great game. Dagger had a good game as well.
I think Dagger played well, but it definitely showed his weaknesses as a right back,
But also, you took out Rodrigo, and then what happened literally was, you took out Rodrigo and you put more pressure on Cesar and Dagger to cover at that point. And,
we started playing better when we went down. I don't know
Yeah,
why that is. It's like we woke up or something, but we started to have more chances once
it's
we went
also
down.
because they realize, hell, we're losing. We're gonna lose this sold out crowd. I don't want to lose. And when that kicks in, you need to see, um, you know, you need to see people kind of like when Gohan turns Super Saiyan 2. It triggers for them to transform. And we saw that from some players like Ivan Angulo in the first half, as always the first half. And I think he should have never been taken out, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Wilder?
Ivan
Oh,
Angulo.
Ivan.
I
Okay.
think Ivan in the first half he was fantastic. I just feel like he should have never been taken out.
I think
we needed.
Ojeda didn't, again, a
No,
guy you need to come in
he
and
didn't
step
work.
up, and he didn't take his chance, like that was there. And
He
I think
missed
overall
so
that
many
we
goals.
just, yeah,
He
we
missed,
all just, yeah.
and then Duncan again,
Duncan
like
didn't have a good game.
he did not have a good game, but also, you have to give kudos to the back line for Columbus, and again,
And Patrick Shelton.
you're relying all your firepower on a rookie, number one. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. Yes, he's a phenomenal player, but you cannot put all the responsibility, because mentally, as you said, there's really not a nanny leadership voice in the pitch.
Well, that's why it needs to be Facu in that moment, or Mauricio. Really, like
Yeah,
those are the
but
two
Facu's never
guys.
been that. Not even
Facu's never been that. Agreed, but that's what I'm saying is we don't have a star player to hang it on then, because
right.
who else are you going to hang it on, right? I mean, that's the thing. In that moment, Luis, we needed somebody to step up and take the game by its shoulder to be like, I'm going to be that guy. And we don't. I'm annoyed because the extra time people say it all the time, and they're right about this one.
Yeah.
I don't always agree with them, but this one I agree, because they're right. I mean, that was pure evidence right there. Like we need a Cucho. We need a Cucho Hernandez, or
exactly.
we need
It's a team full of workers.
Thiago Amado, or we need a Hani Mukhtar. We need somebody who is even like, and that's why I say about Facu is keep Facu as a DP this year, right? But bring in another guy who's even bigger to play on the other wing.
Exactly.
He's an even bigger star, and he can be the guy that puts the ball in the back of the net and takes it. And I'd take a little bit of that pressure off Facu. I think you'd see more from Facu.
More of Facu.
And maybe Ojeda could be that guy if we get him firing a bit more next year, or maybe Ojeda can play the 10. I don't know, but I think we need to figure out what to do with Ojeda, right? That's part of it. Maybe we could buy him down, Luis, from being a DP, right? And maybe just take some of the pressure off even really using him as a first team guy. Maybe just have him as a squad guy, right? If he's not going to be the player that we thought he might be for us.
I mean, look,
but it's only first season on him. I think that we always, with these players, I want to give them a pass in the first season, because it's a lot to adjust to, coming from another country, a new league. They can make an impact in the second year.
We had the opportunity to do that in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
When look, Diego Rossi and Cucho Hernandez were available.
If you buy down Ojeda and they're adding this fourth DP spot they're talking about, then you could potentially bring in 3 DPs on top of having Facu already.
Right.
Which would be huge. So if you could do that, Luis, there's a good question for you. What 3 positions would you go ahead and find a DP for? I have an idea of my 3, but I was interested in your 3.
Who? You want me to give names of who would I like?
No, like what positions would you bring in a designated player?
Definitely a wing, a 10, like a dynamic 10. Somebody that has at least 7 or 8 assists within the year. Approximately at least 11 goals a year, right?
Yeah.
From probably Brazil or probably Europe. Like, for example, Isco Hernandez was available. Isco was available. Diego Rossi was available, and he cooked Daggerdan. He cooked Rodrigo. Cucho Hernandez was available, right? And so, we also are not going to do what Inter Miami did. Look, Columbus just defeated us with literally a really good 6 veteran like Darlington Nagbe. He's playing the MLS for a lot of years, with a really horrible winger like Mohamed Farsi that couldn't even like win you in the 1v1. He was very speedy, very fast, but he wished he would have had Ivan's 1v1 abilities. And with Romanian Alexandru Matan, Cucho, which got him in the middle of the season, and Diego Rossi, who got him in the middle of the season, and then they beat us. On us, we picked Martin Ojeda, who has not panned out the way we wanted to, and I think we definitely need to reassess if we're really going to keep him or not. Because honestly, after the performance yesterday, and I know today's his birthday, right? It was happy birthday, feliz cumpleaños. All I'm saying is, you don't miss those type of goals in this type of games. He missed a goal that was just, I just couldn't believe how he missed that. I was like so angry. And I was just like, I can't believe this. He just missed this, right? Also,
they just all choked, really, didn't they?
Gaston Gonzalez, like, wasn't he DP as well? Like, what are we? No, he's under 23 initiative,
he might be
right?
a U23 initiative, yeah, but not
so
DP.
Like, we can keep him as a sub and stuff, but we haven't seen the best of him yet. So we don't know. I just feel we need a 10. We need a veteran striker, somebody that's going to guarantee us goals from set pieces, like Cucho, right? A center back, right? And I will say
that's 3 DP. So if we're going to bring in 3 designated players, I agree. That's exactly it. Center back, dynamic center attacking mid, veteran striker, and probably like not like a veteran center back, but an experienced enough center back, but he's got still some, youth to them.
Like a healthy, like a
25, 26
center back.
Kind of like when we brought in like 20, we brought in a 27-year-old, I think, or 28-year-old Robin Janssen, right? That's the kind of the red level of player we want to bring in, I think.
Correct. Let's read some comments here. Luis is frozen for all time. I know, man. I'm sorry. Dolan Coca, we need to keep Oscar and keep building. I agree with you. Traumic, what happened to the Tite rumors? That's never going to happen. I'm telling you right now. He's now the coach of Flamengo, and it would have been a horrible idea. It's just, you know what I mean? It would have been a horrible idea. No. It's like you bringing a Liga MX coach.
I think a South American coach who doesn't know MLS is the worst kind of coach to bring in. Yeah, I'd rather have a European coach who doesn't know MLS. Right. Like, they have a better chance, I think.
We need a good 10, a playmaker that can play the 90 minutes plus, another good forward that can compete with Duncan. That's all I want. This is GoldTube TV. I agree. GoldTube TV, my son was brokenhearted with that 0-2. Well, you got to tell him that that's the way sometimes it goes,
You got to say it was 0-0 after 90 minutes. So, take some faith in that.
That's right. It says we need another quality center back. Completely agree with Talan Coca. I agree with him. No one has filled the Nani role. I agree. VW Hutch. I agree. Nani had this leadership in him and this confidence in him that it was, and I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but it's okay because the season's over. He can you could be in the 85th minute and the play, it's not working out. The play that's on the pitch, it's not working out. He grabs the ball, he gathers a team, says, hey, look, I did this with Man United back in blah, blah, blah year. Let's do this. Orlando City goal. Right? And so the coach is like, what the hell? Like, what? Like, the staff is like, what did he just do? Some coaches may like that. Some coaches may not. Because a lot of coaches they have a plan and they want to execute their plan. Nani wants to win, right? And so I think You need that type of creativity he used to have in dire moments, in moments in which Orlando, it's, you could truly, like the playoff game we just had. Minute 84. Who would you rather take a free kick, Nani or or Mauricio Pereira? I'll give Nani all day, because I know he's either going to shoot and score, or maybe do a play that's going to be, a header from Kyle Smith. That's another thing. How bad we were in the attack, especially in the second half. We gave all. We were physically drained. That Kyle Smith had a 1v1 opportunity with Schulte. Do you saw that when he went in with the keeper, and then he kind of, because he's not a striker, so he doesn't know how to shoot, right? So I feel like we need someone that's a leader in the pitch aside of Pedro, because Pedro's too deep. Now, a lot of people are giving a lot of slack on Pedro. What happened with a goal, of a second goal? How do you feel about that, John?
I mean, I think he was too high up for my liking, but
Mhm.
I think also I don't care. Like, we were throwing the entire world at them. That's all you could do at that point. That's what people don't understand about that goal, and they're like, "Oh, you just let it happen." Let them get that second one. You're attacking so much. We had Antonio Carlos on the field playing as a striker. Pedro's up there basically playing as like a sweeper keeper, like, but very far. He was on the halfway line trying to play passes because we're trying to stay up the field to keep attacking. It's just the tactics of what happens in a cup game. You throw everything at the end because you're trying to get that goal. You leave yourself extremely exposed. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I like him that far up the field personally, but I understand what he was doing, and I don't really have a problem with what he was doing.
Look, I believe that, to me, he was one of the. I mean, he saved Orlando. He had 5 saves, man, in that game. It could have been worse without him as our goalkeeper. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Yes, he probably made a little iffy mistake of being too forward, but then you have also on the other end somebody like Cucho Hernandez, who was hungry to score the whole night. You know, um, Also you got, you know he passed the ball at a 67.6 rate. So his distribution maybe could have been a little better, right? And according to the stats I have, it says he only completed 8 of his 20 long balls. He also had 5 saves that evening. So I mean, you know, you're gonna. I mean, I really don't think it could be that international duty influenced a little bit on his performance, because you have to understand. I mean, right now Peru is looking really bad, and he's the captain of the national team. So a lot of the weight and a lot of what people say, and press and the coaches being questioned, is about to be let go. There's a whole big situation happening, and then coming home, he probably was super excited to come play in Orlando. Suit up, be ready. And then this happened. They didn't count that. Obviously, not everybody was going to be uh all in, to on their A game, right? And then they had a really good team in front of him, and he got punished. I just feel like he at least tried to win the last play for Orlando, and I think that backfired on him. Having a really good technical player like Cucho Hernandez in front of him, I mean, that's the only thing I could say.
I
I
mean,
mean, look, for everything that Galese has saved us throughout the season, are you guys really ready to,
it's
clobber
not
him over this?
blaming Pedro; it's the situation. And I think for the value of what Pedro is for what we pay him and what he is in the league, I think it's hard to find top goalkeepers who want to come and play in MLS, and he's up in one of the best goalkeepers in the league, and he'll continue to be up there, right? So I don't think there's any need to replace Pedro. Yeah, he has moments, but every goalkeeper is going to have moments unless you're like incredible, in which case you're not in this league.
Now, why Rodri? Why? Right? A lot of people say, why Rodri? Why? There was no other way to stop Diego Rossi. I mean,
I think Rodri gets himself in those situations, and like the first yellow and stuff. And I think overall, Luis is like he just needs to learn how not to get a wreck like in the final, right? I think that's the moment. Is I get that he's made the challenge.
The officiating was horrible, man.
Yeah, also the refs don't help, but Rodrigo, like he puts himself in the situation to get that yellow card, and like the first one too, like sometimes he throws himself too much into the challenge, or he does something he shouldn't be doing, and the ref's going to call that.
But you're going to be surprised. Before the red card, he was the best defender Orlando had. And I have the stats right here.
Hey, it's a fine line. That's the thing. It's a fine line between the kind of defender that he is, where he's like, he's running around like a crazed man all the time trying to win the ball back, which is awesome. But sometimes you take that a step too far.
Well, I agree.
A few times, and that's it. And some people were saying that maybe you should have taken him off when he gets on a yellow. I mean, I can see some argument for that. Like we've got Antonio Carlos on the bench, right? So maybe Oscar should have been a bit safer if Schlegel. But I think also that was the thing with Schlegel that we said, right? We got comfortable with him being in the back line, forgetting that he has these moments. And
well, I mean,
it was the worst time to have a Schlegel moment.
Well, before being sent off, he had 94% passing accuracy, the highest of the whole back line. Aside of that, he had the most clearances. He had 5 clearances, and he had 2 interceptions, 2 tackles. He won 2 aerial balls, and he blocked 2 shots. Another thing was he was marking Cucho Hernandez. So
I love it, but at the end of the day, everyone's just going to remember the red card he got in this game. I mean, that's the sad thing. Like, he was having a good game, Luis, but it's a fine line, like I said. And sometimes he steps over it too much. He does. And a lot of our team does, to be fair. And in a final and in a game like this with the refs, you got to know if the ref's being an idiot, you got to be safer and take less risks.
And
he's going to call everything. Don't give him stuff to call.
Yeah. And then another player that to me was one of the best in the game for Orlando was Cesar Araujo, because he had a huge part on why maybe this stayed 2-0 and not maybe 4-0 at some point. And the way he poised himself to stop Diego Rossi and stop Cucho Hernandez at some point, I believe that he had a monster game. Unfortunately, things didn't pan out the way you wanted to with Orlando, but I mean, he needs to stay in the team. And we'll talk about that. Who stays, who leaves, in just a second. So let's read some comments real quick. It says here, Dagger got cooked on that side, says Tolan Cook. I agree. Juan Reynoso for Orlando City. Oh, come on, man. No, hell no. He says, Landon, let's win some trophies next season. It says, Cucho Hernandez sounds good for Sao. I don't know what that means. Herman over Rosler, thank you so much. Pedro took a calculated risk and it didn't pay off. I agree. But that's exactly it. That's exactly it. He took a calculated risk, it didn't pay off. Schlegel didn't grab him as hard as Columbus made it look, but still a bad play. I agree. I mean, because when you pull someone from behind and he's the last man there, he's going to 1v1 with your keeper. I mean,
also they knew Cesar liked to take a foul, right? They knew that Schlegel liked to dive a bit and make a meal of stuff. Like, they played on that with the ref, and the ref bought it. So it's fine. Well, that did suck, and it definitely felt like it was a sucky way to end the season. But overall, it was a great season. So I'm trying not to be too sad about it.
So we're gonna talk about now on who we believe should stay and who we should go. Should I stay or should I go? Right. So there's rumors right now, and I'm gonna. This is based on a friend of mine that works for O Globo, which is a really big news outlet in Brazil. Sao Paulo has Sao Paulo is where Alexander Pato plays at the moment. Sao Paulo is a Brazilian team, one of the top in the country, right? He has they have a huge interest in buying Facundo Torres. They are reaching out to Orlando to see if they could, see if they could, what they could offer, and Orlando is going to listen, but I don't really feel they're going to get anywhere with Orlando. It's just my opinion. I feel like, yes, they may have a lot of interest in Facundo Torres, but I feel like Orlando is not going to let him go to Serie A in Brazil. I think if Orlando lets him go, unless Sao Paulo wants to pay like a lot of money for him, Orlando may be listening, but
I don't think they.
I don't think they'll.
Brazilian teams don't pay a lot of money for players to come in. They just don't do it.
Yeah, so that's one rumor is happening. And the second one that comes from Uruguay, I do want to say, everybody knows Nico Lodeiro is probably stepping down from the Seattle Sounders after their loss against LAFC. He said it that he's probably one of his last matches with green and blue, and he's going back to Uruguay. So he's announcing his comeback to Nacional, which also a rumor from Uruguay, one of the biggest sports outlets there, said that Mauricio Pereira is being contacted, and his agent is being contacted to maybe also partner him up with Nico Lodeiro in Nacional. You have to understand, Mauricio Pereira comes from Nacional. I
think he's at that point in his career where it would be good for him to do something like go back to his starting club. I think that would be nice for Mauricio to see out his last 2 or 3 years back in Nacional.
I have to say that Mauricio Pereira, when we did the post press conference, he looked that he was crying a lot in the locker room. I think there was a lot
extra sad this last game.
Yeah, he looked like super extra sad.
Yeah,
and he had to talk to the media. He had to talk to media, and it was really tough on him. It kind of looked like he looked like he was not gonna be an Orlando City player any longer. That's how he came out to be, in my opinion. So we may be seeing two cornerstones of this fantastic club moving away, Mauri, and we may be seeing Antonio Carlos also going, which I feel like he has everything ready to play with Fluminense next season. So now, with that being said, and that was a close one by Facu right there. I can't believe he missed that. I can't believe he missed that. I honestly, it's still.
I think there was a lot of chances in this game where other days we would have put them away.
Look, Ramiro came out really good too in this game. I mean, the subs worked tremendously in this game. That one too. But I don't blame. Like, you see, he blames himself because obviously, but that's not his position.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to blame Kyle Smith for missing one up there.
Kyle Smith is yeah.
But still, it's too painful, Luis. I watched the highlights and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So many chances.
Yeah, we had a lot of chances. I mean, we could have been. I mean, in the
I
first half,
think
we could have.
that's the key, right? Is I don't think Oscar did
Yeah,
anything wrong tactically. I think the players just didn't. He set
yeah.
them up for success. They just didn't take the chances. So that's on them.
Well, here we got renew Oscar, and then Ah. Well, guys. So who stays and who goes? Let's look at Orlando City roster. All right, let's look and pull it up right here. Let's go to a transfer market and let's pull up the roster real quick.
You got to
Because
look at who's out of contract because some
yeah,
players.
we're
Not so
gonna,
much who stays and who goes. It's more who gets renewed and who doesn't get renewed.
honestly, like, you know, I mean, we could be playing, there you go. So we look 46 million euros. That's what it's worth. Wow. Look at our transfer record, negative 5.7. Wow. Okay. So
Hey, we're not a selling club anymore, man. We're a buying club now.
we're a buying club now. That's right. So let's take a look here. Let's look some. Well, let me see right here. There you go.
If you go under details, and then you can sort them by contract, and you'll see the ones that are expiring contracts.
Detailed.
Yeah, that tab at the top there. No, this is right above where the player names are.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, you got it now. Yeah, and then on the contract on the right hand side.
There you go. Okay.
Yep. So you can
So
see 23. There is from Abdi Salim all the way up to Felipe Martins is out of contract this summer. I'm sorry, this winter. Which includes a few players that I definitely want to see back, Luis, and some I'm sure you are
okay.
like one or two big ones that need to come back. I feel like there's options on a lot of these guys that were rookies or youth players, like Duncan. I'm sure has an option just to extend. I'm sure, like Wilfredo Rivera probably, Michael Halliday probably has an extension option. Same with Jack Lynn, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Maybe Petrasso, maybe Kyle Smith.
Look,
Extension options.
let's start with.
When I say that, I just want to explain an extension option, Luis. You know, right? But not
Yeah.
everybody may know. Means that in their contract that they currently are under, the club has the ability just to extend that current contract with the same pay and everything just for another year.
For
And a lot
another
of
year.
the youth players, they'll build that in so they can be like, okay, we want to keep you for another year and see if you develop, or we'll let you go. So
Look, Kyle Smith is worth 1 million euros.
hey man, I gotta say, all right, let's go down these list of contracted players.
Okay, let's look. Let's look at this.
Go one by one.
All right,
First,
so
Sheikh Mohammed, I think will be under contract for next year.
I think he'll be under contract as well.
I think with OCB again, probably. I don't know if he did enough really to so, but I wouldn't give up on Sheikh Mohammed.
Yeah, me neither. I wouldn't give up. Plus, he
showed some signs in OCB that he can develop.
Felipe Martins, pa fuera.
I think, yeah, renew the man. He's just a great backup. King of social media.
Exactly.
Renew him immediately.
And that's fantastic.
Renew him just for the social media skills. There you go. Love it. For the team vibes.
Okay. Junior Urso.
Legend. Same, backup. Happy to be a team guy now. Like both of those guys have got another season in them, and then that's it. Give them a 1 year.
Yeah. Robin Jansen stays.
I would like to see him stay. There were some people speculating that there were some tears in his eyes as well, and that he might have said goodbye to the wall. And I don't know. I would love to see Jansen back next year. I think he's got another couple of years in him, probably.
I know for a fact,
he is also 32. He's not the fastest in the world. If we're gonna do a center back rebuild, maybe a whole new pairing is what we need. I love him, but
look, he was a monster.
He's got a couple more years in him for sure. But whether he wants another couple more years,
right.
Luis.
So his family was at the game.
He loves it here.
Yeah, he loves it.
I think if we give him the option, he'll stay. I just don't know. whether I think he's gonna stay, but there was some speculation. That's why I'm questioning.
But I feel Felipe sadly goes. Junior also, I believe.
Do you
I
think
mean, he did.
Felipe goes?
I think Felipe goes.
Do you think they're just like we don't? I think keep Felipe because he's a good backup locker room guy.
But I
Like I think
believe
unless you're
there's.
gonna promote people from
That's exactly what I'm
OCB
talking
or,
about.
but even that you want to promote Juninho, is that what you're saying?
Of course.
Yeah, I think I would promote Juninho and keep Urso and keep Felipe and have Wilder and have Cesar, and that's your like midfield DN. Like you got 5 options in
Look,
defensive mid.
I'll be honest with you. Wilder right now is being tempted by going back to Peru. And right now, I
I
think
don't think he wants to go back to
I don't
Peru.
think he wants to go back. This
He
is my
wants to stay
opinion.
here. He loves it
Right.
here.
Plus, he's worth 2.5 million euros.
They're gonna give him a contract bump and be like, "We're gonna make you a first team player," and we're like, well, not that. Like, we're gonna guarantee you more minutes, right? Like, you're no longer a potential guy. You're gonna be on the first team, and I think they'll give him a contract bump and tempt him to stay.
This is my opinion. Promote someone from OCB. And I know this is gonna sound so bad. Release Martins. Keep Junior. Keep Wilder. Why? Because Junior could play Martin's position. He could play 3 other ones. That to me, it's more valuable than just Felipe that can play maybe 1 or 2 positions. I'm just saying.
True.
This is nothing against Felipe. I think Felipe is a great guy.
I think it depends on how many youth guys you want on the roster. In which case, yeah, you don't need 2 old veterans as backups. Maybe you should have 1 older veteran and a couple of young potential developing players.
No, I would like to see Robin Jensen back. Antonio Carlos, to me, he's gone.
Yeah, I think he's gone already.
And Wilder Cartagena, he's staying. Greeny, I believe Greeny. We've seen the last of Greeny.
Yeah, I think Greeny is just he's a 3rd string goalkeeper and has been for a long time, and sadly that's sometimes you get forgotten about, and I think we've kind of all forgotten a bit about Adam Grimlis, and I think you need to open up space for guys like Otero to come up, right? And Grimlis, like, he's never going to become the first team guy, so why keep him around any longer?
Luca Petrasso. So Kyle Smith. Look, I would love to keep Kyle Smith, but who else do we have in that position from OCB?
I think there's 2 schools of thought with people like Kyle Smith. I think either you go, he's a good, right back who's very solid and can bring a certain amount of, experience in this league for a cheap price point. And obviously, like, he knows the team and the culture here and has, been here for a long time. So either you're going to say, Kyle, we want to move you on to open up space to allow Mikey to play more. Maybe, I don't know if Dagger's going to play there next season. I don't think he will. Personally, I think they're going to try and use him elsewhere. But they're more than likely going to bring in another right back. Then you've got Mikey Halliday, Kyle Smith, and another right back, and maybe Dagger Dan. So at what point do you say, Kyle, we love you, but we want to move on and give time to other players? Like, a big part of this is how much space do you want on the roster with veterans, and how much space do you want to open up for guys from OCB or other youth talent that we bring in that needs time to develop and needs minutes on the field? Like, love Kyle Smith, but at a certain point, is he taking minutes from other guys that aren't getting chances because we're renewing guys like him and keeping them in the squad?
Look, this is gonna sound really bad what I'm about to say, but I'm gonna say it. If you give me from Kyle Smith and Luca Petrasso, I'll get rid of Luca Petrasso.
I think Petrasso has defensive weaknesses.
And the reason why is because we have not seen enough of him, and I feel like he had a really good run in the beginning of the year, but I feel like we can maybe we need to get elite level. We need to get a guy who could play both wings really good. You know,
I think Kyle Smith is a great backup player, but you can have other players come in and do what he's done and be that guy.
correct.
I think Petrasso could have more time, but I'm not sure whether he's going to be fine with maybe going back to OCB a bit more next season or not being the guy. Maybe we let him go. Maybe we keep him around to see if he can develop. But I get nervous when he's our starting left back. I'll say that.
Ivan Angulo, he needs to stay 110%.
And they extended his loan in the summer, right? But I believe
Correct.
that expires
Correct.
now too. So
correct. So I think
DVD on Angulo, but hopefully they're going to sign him permanently.
Ivan Angulo, they're going to sign him permanently. I mean, you got to be brain dead if you don't do that. I'm sorry, but I mean, he's been one of the best players.
I think for value for money, that's a big thing, Luis. Like in the MLS roster, guys that you can get who are good squad players for less money, who are, aren't taking up a lot of wage budget. Someone like Angulo isn't valuable.
Jacqueline is going to stay because it's Jacqueline. Now, depending
he must be promoted. I demand Jacqueline is promoted. Yeah. This is unacceptable. How can you be small rant for a second though. If they don't promote Jacqueline, I will riot. Because how can you get the Golden Boot winner? How can you be MVP of the lower league? And then that, for me, what else did you got to do to get more of a shot next year in the first team? What Jacqueline did this year.
I agree.
I really hope they give him a shot. And I love Oscar, but sometimes I'm frustrated by the lack of opportunities to first team players.
There's gonna be games for Jacqueline.
OCB players.
I mean, there's gonna be games for Jacqueline, but I still feel like he's not the solution.
I'm not saying like let's hang our hat on Jacqueline, but what I'm saying is like in games, Jacqueline can come off the bench. He can be effective. He can, play open cup games for us. Like, I think he needs to just be in the squad as a third rotation option striker, like to bring off the bench, or if we have injuries, or to be honest, like I would be like, you got a veteran striker, Duncan and Jacqueline, and move Enrique to like the left wing or right wing positions when he wants to come on.
No, Mikey Holiday, we need to see more of him. I think he's going to stay. I think Wilfredo Rivera is going to look for greener pastures. I think he's going to try to get into another MLS team, or maybe, even going abroad. I would recommend him to go to South America and try to relocate there for a little while.
Yeah.
I
think Rivera and Salima too, that I would like to see more in the first
Duncan
team
Maguire and Abdi Salim as well. We need to see Abdi Salim right there.
But they'll get contract renewals or extensions, I'm sure.
Look at Pedro Galese.
Yep. Well, he is through. He's still extended through 24. Yeah. So Dagger Down is here. See, that's the thing. Mauricio, we would actually sell Mauricio because he is under contract. Mm-hmm. Rodri will be here next year. Santos will definitely be here. Gaston is still under contract next year. So if Gaston isn't here, it means we're actually trying to sell him instead of let him go.
I feel Mauricio may be leaving. I think we're keeping Dagger. I think we're keeping Rodri. I think we're keeping Rafa. I think we're keeping Gaston. I think we're keeping Cesar.
Yeah, I think all of these guys, but obviously,
Thomas Williams. I think he needs to stay, and we need to see more of him. I would love to see him start in a League Cup game or U.S. Open Cup. I feel like we have not seen enough of Thomas Williams, and I think it's because we were so comfortable with Rodrigo Schlegel as well. So I think Javier Otero will take the place of Greenwis. It's just my opinion. Or even better, if Mason wants to go play as a starter goalkeeper, which he can, I wouldn't really mind Javier Otero being the number 2. But I think we're keeping. I don't know what are your thoughts regarding that. Thomas Williams, you think he stays or he leaves?
Yeah, I think Thomas Williams. I think, to be honest, he's only 19 years old. There's still time for he became a professional player at 17. So we've heard his name for a while, but really he's still got another few years to develop until maybe he gets a chance. The big thing with center backs is we need a new center back, and we need a young center back to come through, right? So I think either Salim or Williams, someone from OCB needs to be given a chance in some games at center back.
Yeah. Javier Otero, I think he's going to stay. Mason, I think he'll probably stay too. I think we're keeping the three core. I think Javier is going to replace Graham West, in my opinion. Martin Ojeda. Now this is the thing this is the big Bama Jama right there. To me, this is again, I don't want people to get so angry and riled up about it. To me, my opinion, what I would do if I was a Wilf, I would sell Martin. I will sell Martin. I cut my losses, and then I try to find somebody to partner Facundo, because he's going to be playing Copa America in 2024. And I mean, what are you going to leave right now to play for some small club in Europe? You know, I just, it's not a good move for him to leave the MLS right now. He's not ready yet. There's a higher margin for Facundo to fail in Europe than to be successful at the moment at his current level. This is just my opinion. So I feel like we need to find a high impact player that's going to help him out. You know, in a way, I don't know if Martin is that player. You know, Ramiro Enrique, we haven't seen enough of him either. So he has not had the same impact as, you know, as I would have expected it, right? You know, you're coming from a small Argentinian club like Banfield, right? Which, I mean, and it doesn't sound bad. I mean, you can have all the willingness to score, but it's not just willingness to. You know, you got to generate the play, and I don't feel right there yet with Ramiro. It's just my opinion. And then Alex Freeman, Fabian Loyola, I think they'll stay because of it, because of age. But I don't know if we're going to be seeing either of them have any minutes next season. You know, I don't know. What are your thoughts regarding that, John?
I agree about Freeman, Loyola. I think they're young and they've got time. Ojeda and Enrique, I disagree with you there, but I gotta say, I think both of them showed signs this year, and I think next year we need to figure out how to get them both in the starting lineup, in my opinion.
Who, Martin and Ramiro?
Yeah, I would say if you start developing a lineup that's got Duncan or another, veteran striker up top, Ojeda as the 10, because I think he could learn to be that guy for us. I would go Enrique on the left wing and Torres on the right wing. And I would get them all playing together in the same team and get some flow, because I think that they are very similar players. They have similar mindsets. I think we just never got them all going together in the same team. And I think a big part of that was we were always trying to squeeze Mauricio in there. And I think another reason is that Angulo was always in the team as well. And I think if you can teach Enrique to track back and be a bit more of a, team player and be a real left winger, he could take that spot. I think you could teach Ojeda how to be the real dynamic 10 that we're talking about. Like, the guy has the ability to pass and to score, I think. I think you just have to find the right roles for these guys. Or if Facu's going, if that happens, right, then Ojeda's going to take that. Or either way, Luis, I agree in the sense that we have to figure out what to do with Martin. I don't think we can just roll into next season with him being a DP who is off the bench, because it's weird. It doesn't make sense. It's money on the table that we're wasting in a lot of ways. I think that if we're not going to fit him in the team, then I agree, cut your losses, move him on. But I do still think that he could develop next year more in the league and grow more. And same with Ramiro. I think those guys, like Martin, did a lot with not that many minutes. The guy is up there with assists, and and got some goals too. And he didn't have nearly as many minutes as I expected him to have this year. So I think next year, if you find him a starting role and make him part of the team, and kind of a guy that we can be a bit more, what's the word? Like just more integral to the way we play, then I think you'll see the best from Martin Ojeda.
Sure. Let's hope that they're able to find. I mean, I just feel like we need more star power. I think that was one of the things
we need more goals and assists.
We need more goals,
regardless.
and
Like
unfortunately,
some of that's going to come from these guys doing better, maybe, but a lot of it, I agree, will come from outside players.
We need to find some, like I said, a 10.
We need a veteran striker.
We need a 10,
agree on
a
that.
striker.
And a 10.
We need a 10, a striker, and we need a center back. For if Robin and if
a
Robin
right back.
and a right back that can also play left, right? I mean, honestly, like
I'm just looking like first team players here. If I was, I'm like a 10, a center back, a right back, and a striker.
Yeah, I mean, we're not. I mean, look, you could shop around the MLS and see what you could get, but I feel like Orlando City has the money to open the wallet and bring quality level players here.
I think you're going to see more of the Torres, Ojeda, and
I think
signings. They'll be more of the same, more young, Uruguayan, Peruvian, Colombian.
Look, if it's from Peru, I mean, guys, I'm telling you, if it's from Peru, guys, if you guys are listening, Orlando City, if you guys listening, I'll do the job for free for you. I'll go to the office. I'll sat with Ricardo, and I will personally tell him if these players are not going to work or not. I mean, you gotta understand. I have over 600 people watching my other podcast every night, so something I know about it. I want to say something I may know about the Peruvian league. So, honestly, if you guys are going to think of bringing more Peruvians, okay, but I don't think that's it. I think we need to look into Brazil. I think we need to look into Argentina, deep to get somebody really good. Like look how Cincinnati did with Acosta and all those other players. Like Thiago Almada, how did Atlanta got that? I mean, come on, man. It's like, and Facu, yes, great player and all of that, but I don't that leadership chip, like you said, John, that chip of being like, putting the team behind him, right, and just going forward. I didn't see that either, So, but we'll see what happens there. Let's do some comments real quick. Weed my comments, says Sitch Taylor. There you go. We're gonna weed it. Talon Kokai says, you think if Martin had the same minutes of Facu, he would score the same goals?
That's where I agree with Kokai there. I think that Martin did a lot with not a lot. So what if Martin plays as many minutes as Facu next season? I think you'll see, if not better numbers, just as good.
Yeah. People are saying, people are probably saying, teams around the MLS get good players, like Columbus, right? Like, Cucho Hernandez and Diego Rossi, and Orlando gets Ojeda and Dagger Dan, right? And that sounds really horrible because they both have had contributed a little bit on the success of this club, but I do agree that there were a lot of players available. It's just a matter of spending too. We need to look. Cavani was available at some point. Luis Suarez was available at some point. Isco was available at some point. Cucho Hernandez was available at some point. Diego Rossi was available at some point. So I do kind of agree and understand their frustration in some of the fans. But, like John said, it's a process. So I believe
we've hit
I like the way that he said.
I don't think I think Luis and Ricardo are some of the best,
me too,
finding talent and bringing them in. So I don't think we've done bad with signings, but we are missing some star power right now. I agree.
Sean McMullen, hypothetical question: if Oscar were to leave, who would you who would you want to be the new coach? Um,
I
I
have
mean,
I have two names, and neither of them you'll like.
you go first.
My first one is Wilfred Nancy.
I mean, he did really good, but Parlez-vous français?
I mean, look, the guy, he made Montreal really good, leaves in one season, makes Crew incredibly good. I mean, they were okay last year, but he really stepped them up a level. So, I think he's the best coach in MLS right now, but I don't think he's going to leave the Crew. Maybe if we threw enough money at him. But
Who's
in
the
terms
second
of
one?
the second one, is Jesse Marsh, which I think is quality. Didn't really work out for him in Europe, but played in this league, obviously, coached in this league, knows the league, has international experience, understands, is big enough. A lot of people are a big fan of him. I think he's a good manager for this level, and would be a good kind of guy to bring in that's outside of the MLS bubble right now. In terms of like who's available on the market from current MLS or ex-MLS, or there's really not. There's I mean, that's why I said Portland hired Phil Neville. That tells you everything you need to know right there. It's crazy.
So
Sean
my two picks.
McMullen said Adrian Heath. No, sorry.
No, I don't think. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't feel
I
Adrian
think Adrian will get a job somewhere else, but I don't think it'll be us. It'll be a market that can take a risk, and we're not going to do that right now.
But my two picks for me, it would be Jesse Marsh was one of mine. If I had to pick,
I think that would be nice.
I think he fits.
Available.
I think he fits all the. He fits all the
requirements. I don't know if he speaks Spanish. He might do.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't speak Spanish. So I mean, but
that would be a bummer. I think it would be nice.
I mean, it would be a bummer because we have so many Latin American players now. I feel who would maybe fit that role, that speaks Spanish and has had MLS experience, and it is a really good coach and has been scouted by other clubs. Look, Jesse Marsh I like. I feel that Matias Almeida, former San Jose Earthquakes coach, he obviously with San Jose Earthquakes, zero investment. They play with a pure youth players the whole season, and in the end, he had some good games. He's been talked about. He's doing really good in Greece right now. I think his team is like the number one team. I think it's AEK Athenas. He's doing really good right now with AEK. Collins is actually in that team, so he knows Peruvian players. He knows who Pedro Galese is. He'll be a plug-in and rebuild. He's played. He has won. He has gone to World Cups. He speaks Spanish and English, probably as good as Oscar, right? So that'll be, I think, in my opinion, one of a good pick, and obviously with a better investment, obviously because Orlando is going to have a bigger wallet than San Jose. He'll be able to maybe guide and he knows Martin and he knows Ramiro, right? And he'll be able to, because he's from Argentina, he knows how Banfield treats their players, and Godoy Cruz, which is where Ojeda comes from. So there'll be a lot of things that he could get used to pretty fast. And then the other one, I mean, and it's not my favorite, but I feel Gio Savarese. But the thing with Savarese is that Savarese, I feel like he's a little problematic at times, and we're really going to need that in Orlando, right? When Oscar's been so Salomonic with all the players and treat all the players as a family and having a group of people and the fans.
I don't rate Savarese enough.
I don't think Savarese would be, but I mean, aside of that, there's really no one else.
No, I mean, this is the thing, Luis. There's not an abundance of options, and like,
there's not an abundance of options.
It's not our job to find this guy, right? I'm sure there's a much deeper list of the, whoever. Again, we don't know whose job this is right now. Hypothetically, if Luis is renewed and he has to look for a new manager for whatever reason, he would have a list, and that would be names on there that we can't even think of. Well, at least I'd hope that there are names on there that we're not thinking of. But I put out a tweet, Luis, exactly asking, being like, hey, if any people who are, debating not Oscar, then who? And I got one response about a manager, but he had literally just taken a job in Saudi Arabia, not Saudi Arabia, in what's the name?
Oh, Marcelo Gallardo.
Yeah, Marcelo Gallardo. And I said, well, he just took a job at Al Ittihad or whatever it is. And apart from that, that was the only suggestion I got. So if anybody does have a better suggestion than us, I'm interested to know. But really, A, like I said, it's not on us to decide that. But B, if people are like, get rid of Oscar, sure, like maybe, have some idea about the fact that it's not as simple as, hey, there's 20 guys waiting that are going to be better, right? Finding someone better than Oscar is a challenge. And right now, it's not a challenge that we need to go down. I think we just need to renew Oscar, and we'll be better for
it. Top three. I'm not even going to read the last comment. Just showed up. Top three. I think he's just joking. Top three coach in the MLS. Top three coach in the MLS. Oscar Pareja. I have a feeling we need to renew him right away. I think we should not waste any time and open up our wallet. And I think we could have even more of a successful season than this year. You're muted, John. You're muted, John.
The other one I would take is Pat Noonan. But I don't think he's coming.
But he's not. He ain't gonna leave Cincinnati.
Or Steve Cherundolo, but I don't think he's coming.
No, he's not.
Right.
I mean,
I'll take the really successful MLS coaches, but they don't want to leave their teams because they're successful.
If you're bringing Cherundolo, I'll say, hey, bring Clint Dempsey, dude. I love the way Clint Dempsey rally his squad, man, to win it all. Or even if you really want to like good press, and you want, and you're really gonna do it. Imagine this. Landon Donovan.
That actually wouldn't be a terrible idea.
Landon Donovan. Bring Landon Donovan to Orlando City.
Yeah, he's not a bad manager.
He's not a bad. He did it with San Diego.
Yeah, so that could be a cool one. That would be a cool one. That I would be like, it would be nice to have an American coach.
Yeah.
That's something I will say about the offseason, Luis. It's like, let's bring in some American players, please. Like, and I love the fact that we've got a South American culture, but the fact that Duncan McGuire is really the only American starter on our team, it's not,
Well,
let's have a couple other guys.
If we're looking for two
USA,
center backs,
come on.
If we're looking for two center backs, I'm driving. If we're looking for two center backs, I'm driving to Nashville, and I'm going, Thor, come over here, Thor. Let's talk.
Walker. You've had
Walker Zimmerman. Can you imagine how cool he will look on purple? Oh my freaking god, dude!
You keep Janssen, and then you just got double Viking back center backs. You
can call it the
Janssen.
The gods of Odin or something like that.
That
right?
would be the center back duo of the gods,
right?
Janssen and Zimmerman.
Right. The Nordic
Loki
gods.
And Thor. That's what we'd have to call them, Loki and Thor.
Imagine, that's I think Orlando has the money and has the squad and the front office to pull this off.
I just think, Luis, pulling a guy like Zimmerman away from even Nashville is such a challenge. And it's got to be DP, right? If we're going to go DP center back, that's the kind of guy you go after.
Yeah.
We're going to go after, him or like kind of how Cincinnati brought Miazga in. There's an option to bring in a big name center back, American center back, really.
Exactly.
There's an abundance of them. So I would love to do that.
Bring Walker Zimmerman in.
Or like
I will love that.
An American right back, how like Miami brought in Serginho. I'm sorry, not Serginho. They brought in Yedlin, like that kind of a sign in. Yeah, like that would be fine. I would love that. Maybe bring like Anthony Robinson back or something. But he's doing in Fulham, so he's got another 5 or 6 years in the Premier League, I'm sure.
Look, Fulham. I mean, be honest with you, Fulham. Come on, man. I mean, although I heard Anthony Robinson was scouted by Man City. I don't know.
Yeah, he could be going places. I don't think he's probably out of
So
our
Shem
range.
McMullen says Brian Schmelzer. This is
Brian Schmetzer. I wouldn't say no to Brian Schmetzer. That's fair.
I wouldn't say no to Brian Schmelzer, but I mean, I'm talking about going from Oscar Pareja, to Brian Schmelzer. Plus, what I mean, and this is not to discredit Brian Schmelzer, but Neymar comes to Orlando. He's gonna look at Brian Schmelzer and say, "What have you won? Where have you played before?"
And he'll say, King of Seattle.
Well, he's like, "Well, I learned soccer in the University of that's what I'm saying." So, Sitch Taylor, Adrian Collin for 2024. New coach for 2024, James O'Connor.
No.
What's this? Here you go. This is H Gang. Oscar will not stay. I stay an hour extra after the game with some guys, and we talk to him and ask him if we received a sad head nod. Okay.
He did that.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, look, it's your source. That's fine. That's great.
Hey, if you're right, then you're right.
If you're right, you're right, man. Good for you, man. Good for you. You're an insider officially. I name you an insider. There you go. There you go. Jose Aha.
No, don't even. Stop mentioning these names, Sitch.
Sitch, come on, Sitch.
These terrible names.
We need Neymar to come to Orlando City in 2024. Now, he's having a horrible injury. Horrible injury. I don't know if he's gonna be the same player after that injury. And we may get him for cheap. I'll take him. But I don't know if we really want, you know what I mean?
Who knows? I mean, we got so many hypothetical questions for the offseason.
His JCB's 95 Argentina and Brazil will be a great market to pick from. We have to make the investment for quality strikers. I agree with you. It says, read my comment. There you go. We read them. It says, do you think if Martin... No, yeah, we read that. Galese to Leicester City. No, that's not going to happen. It says, you're getting rid of the whole team. It says, the Cartagena will go to waste in Peru. Love my home league, but going back has lowered the quality of some of the players. I completely agree with you. That's a great comment right there, JC Beast. Yes. To me,
I don't think he's going back to Peru.
To me, the Peruvian league is one of the worst in South America. I mean, and some of the teams may have the money as an MLS team, but I wouldn't go there. Because it says Wheeler Cartagena is shit, but the MLS has brought the best of him. This is Tyrone Lannister. What a great nickname. All right. A great season. Has been a pleasure enjoying your show. This is Christopher Brino. But hey, we're not going anywhere. People are thinking, hey, this is the last episode. No. We're not going anywhere. I'm not stopping, dude. There's one thing about at least me. I know John may be taking off for a little bit, but I'll be still putting out content, guys. We're still out there. We'll still talk about a couple of things here and there. And if I have to do it on my own, that's good.
No,
Guys,
I won't be here every week, but we did some off-season stuff.
Yeah, we'll do some off-season discussions. Guys, the majority of Orlando City team will remain in 2024. Let's hope.
I think the majority of the majority of the starters will stay. Maybe a lot of the other guys will rotate out. The subs and the younger players.
Tyron Lannister says, John, is the Columbus Crew such a good team, or was it a bad performance by Orlando City?
Both. The fact that we did let them score for 90 minutes is very impressive, actually, because they are very perfect. But what our worst fear came, Luis, basically is what happened, right? We were like, if we have chances and we don't take them, eventually they will take their chances.
Yeah,
and we never took. We had 120 minutes and we still couldn't put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
I know Oscar was nice to them, I'm sure, after that, and they felt terrible and everything else. But part of that speech had to be, guys, Not even one goal in 120 minutes.
Yeah, we failed to finish a lot of fast breaks.
That's
a lot
what it
of
was. So it's both, buddy. It's us not having a good day, and also they're just
and also we lost
good
the
enough
midfield.
that eventually they will score, whereas eventually
Yeah,
we did not score.
we lost the midfield with
Also, it was kind of a boring game in some ways.
yeah,
It was very tight, but Oscar wanted it that way, and it suited us. We couldn't score. He gave him the chances. We just couldn't score.
JCB's bad way to end the season, but can be prouder of the boys. Great season and looking forward to the future. Vamos Orlando. I agree with you 110%. Vamos Orlando. Schlegel didn't grab him as hard as Columbus made it look, but still a bad play, says Herman. Thank you so much, Herman. Appreciate it. More comments. It says here, Neymar is missing a knee at this point. I agree. It's horrible.
Yeah,
no, he put a video of him. He can't move his leg.
I mean,
they were putting electricity.
Look, he wasn't the most athletic player when he was younger, and now he's 33. He's falling apart. His body's breaking down on him.
It says we need new players for Columbus for us. So he wants us to take Columbus's players and bring them to Orlando. We went to play against Columbus for the Conference Cup. I agree. Nice again for the Cup next year. Sean McMullen, if Ojeda were to score that goal at the end of a legit earthquake would have happened at the stadium. Would even bet someone would have ran. I agree with you, Sean.
I can't look at that Ojeda miss anymore. It hurts my soul every time I watch.
Every time everyone was so mad. I
was at the other end of the freaking stadium, and I could tell that was an easy one.
Look, typically, when we're in the press room, they're like, I want to say hello to Jackie. She's phenomenal. She's like, working press room, guys. You cannot say anything. Working press room. When that happened, we're all like, get the we all like walked away. We're like, get the out of here. Honestly, it was bad. I was like, can't believe it. We had it.
It just seemed like one of those days where it didn't matter what we did. We just weren't going to score.
It says, Etromic, see you guys for Champions League in February. Oh, yeah. We're going to look. Hopefully, Orlando gets a country that I can.
An easier first round. That was freaking Tigres. Like, come on.
Yeah, an easier. Maybe we can go to like Haiti or something. Maybe
remember Austin that went to where was it? They went to Haiti and lost like 4-0 or something.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Now, if I go to Haiti, guys, we're gonna need your support.
Yeah, give us some Jamaican team or something. I want a little island team where we can go and smack them like 5-1 and I can hang out on the beach. That's what I want. I don't want to play some Mexican team where it's really tight affair. I want some Champions League where we go and rain down on some small island nation.
I want to encourage everyone that's watching we have our TikTok. Right now we have all of our videos, and we're going to be putting also our predictions and, it's some bits of the show for y'all to see. We're also going to be doing, hopefully, some videos for some rumors that are happening, circling Orlando City, and very, very soon, starting next week. So subscribe, follow us right here. Just subscribe and follow us on LP_podcast on TikTok. Also, we're on Instagram, and I'll be announcing. I was not going to announce it, but we're going to be doing some changes in the Instagram for LPO very soon. You guys will see it. We're going to try to make it a little bit cleaner, maybe change some of the graphics, maybe a brand new logo, who knows, but we'll try to ramp it up for 2024. And definitely still putting out really good content. So subscribe and follow us also on Instagram. And anything else you want to add, John, before we go? That maybe we haven't touched that I'm forgetting?
No, I just want to, thank everybody for being here in the comments and being with us live and joining in throughout the season and, just supporting and following along with us here. It makes a big difference. We do this out of our free time because we love the club and We love just everything about Orlando City, and want to bring you guys good content, and want to be there to kind of bring this, have these conversations like after the game, and help everybody talk about what happened, and what we kind of see for the future, and our overall thoughts. So we have thoughts, but it's much better when you guys are here and you have your thoughts too. So thank you everybody for participating. Thank you if you're listening on the pod and subscribing. Give us a 5-star review. Show us some love, like us, follow us, all of those things. Use the bell for notifications on YouTube. Anything else we could mention, really just thank you for engaging with us. I think that's the main thing. It's awesome to be here, to have you guys talk and be able to share your opinions. That's a good way to go out, Luis. Yeah. This was a video I got of the wall saying, their love to the fans, to the players. It's probably a good way for us to sign off the season.
That's fantastic. I mean, the best supporting group
and that was like 5 minutes after the whistle, and they're still there chanting and singing, and everybody, the wall was like half the wall just stayed. And it's a great moment. So thank you to everybody.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter also, Loud and Proud Orlando, right here. You can find John in his Twitter right here, John Rollins, John Rollins OCSC, as well as Paola. You can have Paola follow it in right here, Lola _Pow13. Also Tito de Esquina, right?
Yeah,
that's her.
Esquina.
Right here, Tito. Where is that? Esquina. Right here. Tito Esquina OC right here. So this is her
Spanish pod. If you haven't heard that,
Spanish pod. Yeah, if you guys ever wondered, fantastic. Her and Alec do a great job. And I encourage you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I mean, we're trying to get to 1K. We didn't make it. We grew a lot this season. We just
did grow a lot, so that's good.
Yeah.
I don't know where we started. I want to say 500 something. We've gone up a good 180 subscribers.
We grew a lot. We grew a lot. We wanted to thank you guys for your support, and just continue supporting us, because we're going to try to put more content. We're going to be changing a lot of this in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, we're going to see maybe we can ramp things up for 2024 season. And we're going to continue putting out content for you guys on TikTok, on Instagram, here also the show, maybe talk about what's happening, rumors, maybe make it a shorter episode, right? No, an hour and 45 minutes, but definitely exciting things are coming for Loud and Proud Orlando in 2024. So I wanted to definitely thank you guys for your support and for subscribing to the channel. So anyways, John, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, next week
Vamos
for
Orlando.
Prediction reviews.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got the predictions. Yeah. And Paola hopefully is there. Hopefully Paola is there with us.
We'll look back at what we said for the season versus what actually happened.
There's a lot of surprises there.
A lot of us looking stupid. You can enjoy that.
Yeah, we do. There you go, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and vamos Orlando. Take care, guys.
Vamos Orlando.